Are you confused and frustrated with the modern zombies point system? Don't you wish we could just go back to the classic superior system? What if you're missing something? What if you're looking at this the wrong way? What if I told you the new point system is secretly genius? Before we talk about the new point system, we have to talk about the classic point system. I mean, why did Treyarch even change it in the first place? What was wrong with it? Everyone knew it. It provided players with an additional level of strategic gameplay, and ultimately, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, what if I told you the classic point system was broken? It wasn't perfect, it had flaws, and it is worth exploring additional point systems to find a better solution. Now off the bat, if you don't believe that, if you are closed-minded about the classic point system being perfect, then you probably won't get much from this video. Recently, Kevin Drew, a Treyarch developer, replied to a tweet asking why they changed the point system in the first place. He says, "There are a few reasons, but the main one for me was my brother wanted to play my level in Black Ops 3. He got shouted at in a public match for killing zombies the wrong way and never played again. He was just trying to kill zombies fast and the system was punishing him for it." Now before we get up in arms about this tweet, let's make it clear that he said there are multiple reasons, not just this reason. But the first reason, and the main reason at least for Kevin, is the fact that the classic point system isn't intuitive. The zombies point system is a reward system. Developers use these systems to reward players for doing things that they want them to do. The classic point system rewards players for not killing zombies. That's literally what it does. Every single hit marker you get more points. The more hit markers you get, the more points you get. In a game where the core gameplay experience is about killing zombies and surviving rounds, having the classic point system reward the exact opposite doesn't make much sense. It's unintuitive. So what? Who cares? The classic point system rewards intelligence. It's a strategy. It makes all weapons viable for something. There are positives about the classic system for sure, but let's take a look at the gameplay. Round 2 on Cold War, Rampage Inducer, done in mere seconds, maximum points achieved. Round 2 on Black Ops 3, slowly shooting every single zombie 8 times. Maybe even waiting for them to line up. It was boring. It slows the pace of the game down to a crawl. But Donuts, you don't have to do that. You can play the game the same way and go for headshots. That's the trade-off. If you want to maximize points, you're going to need to sacrifice your time. It's depth to the gameplay, and I agree with that. The system works great in that regard. But I want to ask you a genuine question. Is this gameplay fun? Really think about that question. Why do you play zombies? Because for me, if I had the choice between shooting zombies slowly, one at a time, with a weak weapon, or by flying through zombies with devastating damage and headshots, I know which one I'm choosing. I love this quote that I heard in a Game Maker's Toolkit video.
One of the responsibilities I think we have as designers is to protect the player from themselves.
Whenever a designer makes a game, they'll have certain ideas for what would be the most enjoyable or interesting way for a player to approach things. But players will often have other ideas, because many will simply gravitate towards strategies that will most likely lead to success, regardless of how enjoyable those strategies might actually be. So they grind, they use repetitive tactics, and they play slowly and cautiously. As Civilization 4 designer Soren Johnson puts it, given the opportunity, players will optimize the fun out of a game.
If you aren't subbed to GMTK, you're missing out on some brilliant game design discussion. Personally, I think the classic point system encourages players to optimize the fun out of the game. But that's not the only reason. There are more benefits of this point system that you might not notice right away. With the new point system, there are a fixed number of points that players can earn per round. This means that the developers can prolong the player's in-game progression and purposely create a well-tuned and balanced gameplay experience. This might have been the biggest issue with the classic point system. Because players were able to farm points with weak weapons, it meant that they were able to open doors, buy perks, pack a punch, and get set up earlier than what the developers might have originally intended. This leaves Treyarch in a weird position. If they balance the game based on players who maximize points, the game would actively discourage players who don't. But if they balance the game around the players who don't maximize points, the ones who do would essentially break the entire balance of the game. So with the fixed amount of points, Treyarch knows incredibly accurately how many points players are generally going to have. With that information, Treyarch is able to scale the prices of doors, perks, pack-a-punch, even wall weapons in a predictable, consistent, and balanced way. This is something very apparent in Cold War, and I absolutely love it. Fully pack-a-punching a weapon will end up costing players 50,000 points, as opposed to the near 5,000 points it was in the classic point system. Keep in mind, that's just one weapon pack-a-punched without ammo mods. Perks also increase in price by 5,000 points with every purchase, starting at 2,500 points, and by the end of the game's lifecycle and its 10 consumable perks, players will spend up to 47,500 points just to get all of the perks. Assuming players get 2 weapons fully pack-a-punched with ammo mods and all of their perks, it will cost them 152,500 points. As a result of this incredibly high point cost for getting set up, players will tend to have longer games, reaching higher and higher rounds. In the classic point system, players could get comfortably set up around round 10 to 15. But in Cold War, it could easily be anywhere from round 25 to 35 before players feel completely set up. This not only provides a more engaging experience, since players are always playing to obtain their next perk or pack-a-punch level, but it also increases replayability by stretching out the in-game player progression and providing players with a much larger gameplay experience. But donuts, what about the weak weapons? With the new point system, weak weapons are pointless. First off, I think this is the biggest downside of the new point system, and I don't have an easy solution or an answer that fits very well, but hear me out. Weak weapons in zombies have always been difficult to justify. The only reason to use weak weapons is for points. The new point system simply highlights a problem that has been here for ages. Weak weapons don't have a place in the zombie sandbox. And if the only reason to use weak weapons is for points, I think that's a weapon balancing problem, not a point system problem. But the strategy and depth, I know, I get it. But let's say we're in game and we need points. In Cold War, to get more points, all you do is kill zombies. This is great because that's the whole point of the mode. That's why I'm playing zombies. That's what I came here to do, to kill zombies. So you're telling me the way I get more points is to do the fun thing that I came here to do anyway? That sounds good to me. That's fun. But over here in the old point system, if I need more points, I have to stop killing zombies, use up a whole weapon slot for a gun that isn't even useful for killing zombies, you know, the reason I'm playing the mode, and slow down the pace of the game yet again. That's boring. It may be strategic, it may add depth to the gameplay, but it's boring gameplay. Oftentimes I see people wondering, why would Treyarch change this? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Which is usually accompanied by something to the effect of, so many people know the point system. It's always been that way, why change it? And I have to be honest, I don't like those arguments. I think they're bad arguments. Life is about adaptation and change. Leaving things be, because that's the way they've always been, or we've always done it this way, isn't healthy. Game developers need to try new things, challenge their current systems to find better ones. Part of that is admitting the faults of the classic systems that have been implemented for so long. And I am really happy with this new point system. It's not perfect, but it's an improvement on the previous version. And hopefully the next point system is going to be even better. In fact, remember when I said I don't have a solution for weak weapons? Yeah, I lied. I do have a solution, and it's right there. Be sure to check it out in that video, join my Discord, and stay beautiful.